Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever looked into the mirror and seen not who you are, but who you could be? Not the reflection staring back at you, but the vision blazing in your soul. The millionaire of ideas, the conqueror of fear, the architect of destiny. Let me tell you a truth as firm as the laws of gravity. Success is not granted. It is assumed. It is acted upon long before it becomes a reality. The man who becomes great does not wait until he is crowned before he walks like a king. No, he walks like one when no one is watching, because he has already decided to be great. Success is not something that arrives on your doorstep unannounced. It does not wait for the perfect moment, nor does it seek permission. Instead, it is something you step into with full conviction, long before the results appear. Most people make the mistake of waiting to feel confident before they take action, waiting to be called successful before they act like it. But the truth is, this is entirely backward. You do not become successful and then act like it. You act successful first. You behave as if the outcome is inevitable. You walk, talk, think, and choose as though you already possess the results you desire. That is the foundation of real progress. Think of it this way. A leader doesn't wait for a title to lead. They begin making decisions with clarity and courage. A confident person doesn't wait for approval to believe in themselves. They carry a posture of confidence until it becomes second nature. A wealthy mindset does not wait for riches to appear. It begins by managing every dollar wisely, investing time intelligently, and thinking with abundance. It's about making a decision, a powerful internal shift that says, I am this person now, and then proving it through your actions every single day. When you assume the identity of the person you want to be, your behavior begins to align with that vision. That behavior, repeated over time, becomes your character. And character, more than luck or circumstance, is what creates success. You don't wait for permission to transform. You act now, as though the transformation has already taken place. That is how great people build great lives. They start behaving like their future selves before anyone else believes in them, because they already do. The way you behave on a daily basis is not random. It is a mirror of what you believe about yourself. If you think of yourself as strong, you act with strength. If you believe you are capable, you step into challenges with determination. On the other hand, if you carry doubts, those doubts will leak into your posture, your words, your tone, and your choices. Behavior is never separate from belief. It is belief in motion. This is why personal transformation begins not with changing your environment, but with changing your internal narrative. When you truly believe you are worthy of success, your actions naturally rise to meet that standard. You stop tolerating what no longer aligns with your vision. You begin to carry yourself with purpose, speak with more clarity, and make decisions with greater confidence. People may not notice the shift at first, but the energy you project starts to change. Your behavior becomes more focused, more deliberate, more aligned with a person who knows where they're going, and this is where true power lies. Not in waiting for confidence to appear, but in acting as if it's already yours. That belief fuels consistency, and consistency creates progress. The more you act in alignment with a powerful self-image, the stronger that image becomes. It's a loop. Belief shapes behavior, and behavior reinforces belief. Over time, what once felt like pretending becomes your new reality. You are always proving something to yourself through your behavior. So the question is, what are you proving? Are you reinforcing limitations, or are you building a case for your own greatness? The moment you begin to behave as someone who believes in their vision, your entire world begins to shift in that direction. Dreams and visions are powerful, but without discipline, they remain fantasies. It's easy to imagine a better future, to see yourself successful, respected, fulfilled. But imagination alone does not create reality. What bridges the gap between where you are and where you want to be is your daily discipline. Every action you take, every choice you make, is either moving you closer to the person you intend to become or pulling you further away. Discipline is the tool that transforms potential into progress. The truth is, becoming the person you envision isn't about waiting for motivation or inspiration to strike. It's about showing up and doing what that future version of you would do, regardless of how you feel in the moment. If the person you want to become wakes up early, eats with intention, manages time wisely, or prioritizes learning, then you must do those things now, even if it's difficult, especially when it's difficult. That's when your character is forged. People often assume that once they reach a certain level of success, discipline will become easier. But the opposite is true. Discipline is the price you pay up front. It's the down payment on future results. Without it, goals remain ideas and dreams remain out of reach. The habits you form today will determine whether you ever meet the version of yourself that you aspire to become. So when you ask yourself, what would my best self do? Listen carefully, then act on the answer, not just once, but repeatedly. That's how transformation happens. That's how you take control of your story. You match your habits to your vision. Because the future you're building isn't created in the distance, it's being built in the details of your discipline today. Great mastery dawns whether you know it or not. Great achievers are not defined by the moment they succeed, but by how they behave long before success arrives. One of the most powerful examples of this truth is Thomas Edison. He did not wait for the world to validate his genius before acting like an inventor. He persisted through thousands of failures, not because he knew when success would come, but because he had already decided who he was. He behaved as a successful innovator even when the world called him a failure. That behavior, rooted in belief, eventually made the world agree with his vision. This principle applies to anyone who dares to pursue a better life. You don't need permission to start becoming who you want to be. You don't need the results in hand before you begin to act like the person who earns them. In fact, the results only come because you first choose to behave in alignment with your vision. Every successful person, whether in business, art, science, or leadership, began their journey by acting as if they belonged in the role they aimed to occupy. The world doesn't shape your identity. You do. And the way you shape it is through consistent behavior that reflects your inner decision. If you act unsure, you remain, but if you act with conviction, people begin to respond to you differently. They start to reflect back the confidence you project. Over time, your reality bends to match your repeated behavior. So when you feel like an imposter or question your path, remember this. Every master was once a beginner who simply refused to act like one. The future respects those who behave with purpose before it's popular. Before it's proved and before it's praised, who you become in life is not determined by a single breakthrough moment. It is shaped quietly and powerfully by the actions you repeat every day. Your identity is not fixed, it is fluid and formed by your habits. When you repeatedly behave in a certain way, your brain begins to accept that behavior as part of who you are. The more often you act like a confident, disciplined, focused person, the more you become that person. Not just in appearance, but in thought, in instinct, in identity. This is why behavior is so critical. Every time you make a decision, take action, or respond to a challenge, you're casting a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. One vote won't change your life, but thousands of them, repeated consistently, will. You don't wake up one day as a leader, a professional, or a master of your craft. You become those things gradually by behaving in alignment with that identity over and over again. Your habits are the seeds, and your identity is the tree that grows from them. That's why pretending isn't false, it's formative. Acting like the person you intend to be is not faking it, it's training your mind and body to adapt to a higher standard. Eventually, what once felt like a stretch becomes natural. What once required effort becomes instinct. Every day, you are building a case for who you are through your actions. Each habit is a declaration of identity. If you want to become strong, you train. If you want to become wise, you study. If you want to become successful, you work like someone who already is. Repetition is transformation. The more you act like your future self, the faster that future becomes real. The future is not some distant place waiting to arrive. It is actively being shaped by what you do today. Every thought you entertain, every word you speak, and every action you take is sending a signal forward, constructing the version of yourself that will exist tomorrow. The idea that you can wait for the right time, wait for motivation, or wait for conditions to improve is a dangerous illusion. The future doesn't respond to waiting, it responds to behavior. It responds to the decisions you make now in this moment. Whether you realize it or not, you are already in the process of becoming someone. The question is, are you becoming that person by design or by default? If you let your current circumstances dictate your behavior, then your future is simply a continuation of your past. But if you choose to act as the person you intend to be, regardless of current conditions, then you begin to interrupt that cycle. You begin to write a new narrative. There is no invisible line separating today from the life you want. That line is created by your choices. How you respond to setbacks, how you treat your goals, how seriously you take your vision. The person you want to be is not watching from afar. They are waiting for you to meet them through discipline, courage, and consistency. When you behave with purpose, you begin to meet your future halfway. So the question is not, will I change? Because you are changing every day. The question is, am I changing into the person I truly want to become? If the answer is yes, it's because your present behavior is earning that future. The future belongs to those who act like it already matters, because it does.